Hello, I'm Gordon Lang, editor of CameraLabs.com. I'd like to give you a brief video tour around the Olympus E-420. Here it is, the E-420. This is the successor to the E-410, and like that camera and other Olympus DSLRs, it's based on the 4/3 standard. That means it can take any 4/3 compatible lens, and I've got it fitted here with the Olympus Zuiko Digital 25mm. Now Olympus describes this as a pancake lens, and you can understand why when I turn the camera to its side. This really is a very slim lens indeed. I'll be talking more about that later on in the video. Now externally speaking, the E-420 greatly resembles its predecessor. They share pretty much the same body. The new E-420's got a slightly bigger screen, and if we have a look at it from above, you'll notice that the grip here is also slightly enlarged, although it's still fairly small. Olympus has also changed the colour of the labelling on the controls from a green to a blue colour that's more easily visible to those with colour blindness. But essentially, looking at this camera externally, it is pretty much the same as the E-410, and that's no bad thing, because that also now makes this camera the world's smallest and lightest digital SLR. Now the body's pretty much the same as its predecessor, and the resolution's also the same, 10 megapixels. So let's take a closer look at exactly what's changed with the E-420. The E-420 is now equipped with a larger 2.7-inch screen, and like its predecessor, you can use this for composing your shots in live view. New to the E-420 though is a contrast-based auto-focusing mode, which also allows face detection, as you can see here. And I'll be giving you a greater demonstration of live view on the E-420 later on in the video. The E-420 also features faster continuous shooting than its predecessor, so it's up from 3 to 3.5 frames per second, and here's how that sounds. The E-420 also impressively inherits a few features from the flagship E3. As such, on this camera you'll now enjoy a very broad degree of customization and also support for wireless flash control. And like all Olympus DSLRs, the E-420 is equipped with the now almost legendary SSWF anti-dust filter. And again, if you head on over to our full review at CameraLabs.com, you'll see just how effective that can be in practice. Now let's move on with the video and take a look at the E-420's controls. Externally, the new E-420 greatly resembles its predecessor, although as I show you the controls you'll notice the labelling is now in this blue colour, which as I mentioned earlier makes it more easily visible to those with colour blindness. So on the top left side you'll find two buttons, one to activate the pop-up flash options and the other for the drive mode. On the upper right side of the body you'll find the main mode dial, a switch here that powers it up, and keep an eye on this little light here when I do that. That indicates the anti-dust filter working. To the front here, the shutter release button, an exposure compensation button, and a dial here that controls various options. Turning the camera to the rear, you'll see the four-way traditional control system here, along with a customizable function button. This button here is used to activate the live view mode, and I'll be showing you more about that in just a moment. This is the only port on the E-420. If you open it up, you'll find a single plug. This delivers the USB output and also the TV output. Open up this door here, and you may be surprised to see, because of the small size of the E-420, that this camera actually takes full-size compact flash cards. It also takes XD memory here if you prefer, although sadly you can't record to both cards at the same time. Turning the camera to the underside, behind this door here, you'll find the battery compartment. It's fairly stiff fit, so I won't be removing the battery in this video, but it is the same model that you'll find in its predecessor, the E-410. The E-420 shows a vast amount of shooting information on its screen, and it makes it very easy for you to make adjustments. To do so, press the OK button to the right of the screen and you'll see an option is now highlighted yellow. You can now either turn this dial at the top right of the body to make a direct adjustment, or press the OK button to bring up a dedicated menu. If you want to adjust anything else, you just move this yellow highlighter over the desired option, again using the 4 direction keys. So you could go for the white balance, the drive mode, autofocus, maybe the quality mode here, and you can see that Olympus has abandoned labelling like SHQ and gone for something more sensible like large fine. Now quite impressively, for a camera like this you can go into an enormous amount of detail. You can adjust the white balance, you can go straight for the sharpness, contrast and saturation. It's really very impressive and a very easy way of adjusting settings. Now let's take a look at the live view features of the E-420, and to enter live view you press this button to the right of the screen. Now it uses its main sensor to deliver live view, so there is a slight delay in noise as the mirror flips up and the shutter opens. But this is the live view in front of the E-420, prove that by wiggling my fingers in front of it. And by using the main sensor you get benefits like a 100% coverage and also manual focus assistance that I'll show you in a moment. Like most live view systems, you can overlay various graphics on the screen. Press the info button in the bottom left corner, we can overlay an alignment grid. Again, if I put my fingers there, you can see it more clearly. You can change that graphic if you prefer. You can also get shooting information, a live histogram. Press it once more and this green frame is the manual focus assistance. Now what you can do here is move this frame to the desired area that you'd like a closer look at, and then press OK and you get a magnified view. This is at 7 times, and now I can even look at 10 times, and this allows you to very carefully get that focusing absolutely spot on. That's one of the benefits of using the main sensor to deliver live view. Press the info button once more and you'll see one of the E-420's other new features. This is the Perfect Shot preview, and it actually gives you 4 live thumbnail windows of different settings, so you can see their effects side by side. Again, you can see they're all live there because of my fingers waving in front of the camera lens. So it allows you to compare things like the exposure compensation here. But by pressing this arrow here, we can also preview different white balance settings. So that's really quite a nice feature to have. Now let's look at the autofocus options in live view on the E-420. I'm going to start with the brand new Imager AF mode. This is a contrast based system, and to activate it you simply half press the shutter release. So you can see that took a couple of seconds to autofocus, so it's not that quick, but like other contrast based systems there's no noise as the mirror flips, and there's also no interruption to the display. It also allows the E-420 to use a more sophisticated 11-point autofocusing system. Now this system only works if you've got a compatible lens. If your lens is incompatible, the E-420 will revert either to the new hybrid mode or to a traditional phase change system. I'm going to show you the latter right now by going into the menu system and having a look at one of the E-420's many custom functions. Down here we see the live view AF mode. I'm going to change it from Imager AF to AF sensor. So let's see the difference now. You'll see here it's overlaid this graphic in the middle. This is indicating the more basic 3-point autofocus system. And now if you want to autofocus you have to press the AEL, AFL button, so I'll do that right now to show you the difference. Finally, let's have a look at the hybrid option. So I'm going to go back into the menu system once more, go to this custom function and change the live view AF mode to hybrid. Now this still uses a basic 3-point system, but it actually combines some of the features of contrast and traditional phase change autofocusing. So to start, you half press the shutter release button. And as you can see, it would appear to have autofocused without flipping the mirror, but this is only an approximate position. What you then do is press the shutter release button all the way down, and that will allow the camera to autofocus properly. The Olympus E-420 is a very capable DSLR. It's got a broad degree of customization, great control system, and is also able to deliver some really good quality images. But what really makes this camera very, very special is of course its size and weight, which at the time we filmed this video made it the world's smallest and lightest DSLR. And this camera really comes into its own when you've got it fitted with this 25mm pancake lens. Look at it from the side and from the top. This really is an extremely small DSLR, and ideal for people upgrading from a point and shoot, or in situations where you'd normally leave a bigger camera at home. In fact, people who own professional or semi-professional DSLRs are often on the lookout for an enthusiast level compact that they can take out with them on an almost daily basis. Well, those people should also be considering the E-420. Of course, it's bigger than a compact camera, but maybe not so much so. This is a camera that you probably could take with you in most situations. Now there are of course some downsides to the E-420, and they're pretty much the same as its predecessor. The optical viewfinder looks fairly small, and also when you're using the optical viewfinder you're limited to a fairly basic 3-point autofocus system. But perhaps the biggest problem facing the E-420 is a lack of viable anti-shake options. Unlike the E-510 and the new E-520, they're not built into the body, which means you'll be relying on optically stabilised lenses, which sadly are few and far between for the 4/3 standard. You could find one and fit it, but really most people will be using this camera without any stabilisation. But it is just worth mentioning here that when you do have this pancake lens fitted, its f2.8 aperture will ensure that you will be able to get decent shutter speeds in dimmer conditions than you would with most average kit zooms, so it may not be as big an issue as you thought. But of course you want to see what the image quality is like on the E-420, so head on over to our full review where you'll see it compared directly against Canon's EOS 400D or Rebel XTI, and also the newer EOS 450D or Rebel XSI. So, to find out if this is the DSLR for you, head on over to our full review. You'll find it at www.cameralabs.com.